Okay, hi everybody. Just wanted to say hello and welcome you to tonight's webinar. We're going to be talking about using robot virtual worlds to get ready for VEX competitions. And also on tonight's webinar, we're really excited to announce the VEX and VEX IQ virtual competitions. Those competitions are really exciting on their own, but another really exciting thing we want to talk about is that the competitions are going to provide an opportunity for teams to win a trip to VEX Worlds. So we'll be talking about that a little bit more in a bit, but first I wanted to start by introducing our panel of experts for tonight. So first off we have Jesse Flatt. Say hi, Jesse. There you go. He's the project manager for Robot Virtual Worlds. He and his team are the ones who basically make the magic happen for the simulation worlds that you see during the competition. Next we have Mr. Jason Mckenna. Give us a wave, Jason. Hi. Jason is a former robotics teacher and he has over 20 years of classroom experience. He recently joined RoboMatter as our Director of Education and we're really excited to have him on board. We also have Robin Shoup with us, who is on the phone. He's not going to be able to share his camera tonight. Robin is a lifelong teacher with over 30 years of classroom experience. He's also a longtime supporter of the REC Foundation and VEX Robotics. And on top of that, he's also the founder and director of Carnegie Mellon's Robotics Academy. And finally, my name is Leanne Baronet. I'm the marketing manager for RoboMatter, which is the sponsor of the VEX and VEX IQ virtual competitions. So one last thing before we start the discussion. I just wanted to let you know, for those of you on the call live with us, if you have a question, feel free to enter your question into the chat, and we will be sure to get to your questions throughout the webinar. Also, for those of you who are live, let me share my screen with you really quickly. So for those of you who are joining us live tonight, you are going to be entered into a raffle to win a Robot Virtual Worlds license. All you need to do to be entered into that raffle is send us an email at socialmedia@robomatter.com. Make sure you include the subject, "I attended the live webinar," and don't forget to include your name and your contact information in that email. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and get started.
Hey Jesse, thanks for agreeing to be part of the webinar. Can you tell me a little bit more about the VEX and the VEX IQ virtual competitions?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And I think it makes sense for me to bring up a couple of important websites for everyone out there too. And so what I have just brought up, did that bring up a website?
Yes, it did.
Okay, so this is a very important website for everyone out there listening. It is robotc.net/RECF. And so this is going to be the main page you're going to want to look at. It's going to point to all the different resources and have lots of information. So if you only remember one website after tonight, really do remember this one. Now that said, what we are doing is RoboMatter is partnering with the RECF to bring a new competition. And so at RoboMatter we have the Robot Virtual Worlds, and every year we simulate the VEX and VEX IQ competitions. And so I can actually go to the Robot Virtual Worlds website, and here we have a page devoted to the bank shot Robot Virtual World. And so we've created an environment, we simulate all of the scoring, we give you a robot that is able to play the game, and we do the same thing for the Nothing But Net VEX Cortex game. Now, what we're doing as part of the competition is that we are collecting scores from the programming skills mode. And so students, teams have the opportunity to score as many points as they can by autonomously programming their VEX IQ and VEX Cortex robot and then submitting those scores to us. Now, an important component to submitting the scores is another website called CS2N, the Computer Science Student Network. If you go to cs2n.org and click on the competitions page, you will see that there are two listed there, well actually four, but two that we want to pay special attention to: the bank shot programming skills and Nothing But Net programming skills. in order to compete inside of the competition, you'll need a few things. One is ROBOTC. Another is the robot virtual world that you would like to compete in, so either Bankshot or Nothing But Net. And then the last piece is you will need a CS2N account. CS2N accounts are free. Once you have an account, you can go in, you can sign up, you can read about all of the additional rules. And then whenever you are actually running the software on your computer, what you'll see is that whenever you open up the software, you log in using a CS2N credential. And so whenever you use that, we're able to collect your score. You'll also need to submit your code, and then you'll be eligible for our prizes.
Hey, Jesse, I have a question.
Sure.
That first site, because you were just at 3 different sites, and I don't want to, I'm a little confused. That first site that you went to,
yes.
was the ROBOTC, yep, is it this site? Does this have everything that I need to know in order to get to the other places?
Yes, it does. So this is really the #1 site that you want to remember. What you'll find on this page are the details of the competition, the prizes, resources, so you can learn more about the individual pages. You'll see here that there are links to those other pages that I went to, learn about CS2N, the game manual, downloading ROBOTC and the other packs. And so everything that you need to know is really on this page.
Okay.
I had a quick question, Jesse.
Sure.
I know from my classroom experience, I really enjoyed using the virtual worlds in the classroom. My students enjoyed it also. One of the main things that they liked about it was the immediate feedback that they received by completing the challenges in the virtual environment and not having to wait for the table to be clear to run or test their code. If I wanted to utilize some of these competitions in my classroom, how would I go about doing that?
Sure. So Robin, I think you have some experience with that, don't you?
Yeah, so I have used the competitions in my classrooms, and basically what I did is I broke my classrooms into 4 or 5 teams and had them work together in order to solve the challenges. And I ended up, I was actually teaching 3 sections of robotics, and so I'd have an in-school tournament and have about 12 or 15 teams, depending upon how many kids I had that year. But it really worked well.
So I have a question for you guys. I think you all know that I'm pretty new to this robotics competition thing. Where would you recommend that I go to get some help?
Well, that's a great question. So a few things. Again, I'm going to point back to this page because what we will be doing is we will be hosting free webinars for anyone interested. We'll be having free VEX IQ and free VEX Cortex training for competition teams. That will be specialized for competition teams. But also on the front page, on the home page of robotc.net, so that's where I jumped to. And sorry if I went a little too quickly. There is a yellow box a little bit down the page with ROBOTC curriculum. Inside of there, there's a free curriculum for the VEX Cortex and a free curriculum for the VEX IQ. And so if you're brand new to robotics and if you want to learn how to program, we have those webinars for you, but we also have this free curriculum for both of the platforms. That's really a great resource if you're just learning how to get learning how to get started programming with these robot platforms.
So Jesse, when do those webinars start?
Great question. So the VEX Cortex webinars start Tuesday, September 22nd at 8:30, and the VEX IQ webinars will start Mondays, starting September 21st, also at 8:30.
And what if I can't be there for that that particular time?
Sure. So we highly encourage making it there. That's your opportunity to ask questions live. But if you can't make it, we will be posting the recordings, so you'll be able to get to them later.
In the middle of the week, if I had a problem, where would I go?
Great question. So Also at robotc.net, you'll find under the community page that there is a ROBOTC forum. And so inside of the ROBOTC forums, under Robot Virtual Worlds, we will be paying close attention to any questions that come up around the VEX IQ Bank Shot and VEX Nothing But Net worlds. And so if you have any questions, need any help, need any guidance, or run into some issues, feel free to post those there, and we're paying close attention.
Do you think maybe we should have that be two different categories, since I know there's a completely different group of people who do the VEX IQ versus the VEX Cortex. I'm just thinking out loud that maybe we should try to do that.
Sure. If that becomes a need of the community, that's definitely something we can do.
Jesse, I have a quick question. The webinars that you mentioned for where people can go to get help or to get training, what's the difference between those webinars and the online training via the Robotics Academy?
Great question. So the free training that we will be offering around these competitions is highly specialized for competition teams. So it's things that you need to know to get started with a VEX IQ robot in the VEX IQ Challenge. And the same thing for the VEX Cortex. Lots of tips and probably some more advanced topics too. The training that the Robotics Academy provides is designed for teachers, and it's designed to teach the scaffolding and the pedagogy needed to bring robotics into the classroom, and also equip teachers with the tools that they need to be able to troubleshoot typical problems that they would see inside of a robotics classroom. So one is very team and competition focused, and one is very teacher and classroom focused. The Robotics Academy training also leads to a certification for the teacher.
Yep. So,
great, thank you.
So I think the key is, if you were doing this for a competition, you would just attend the free seminars. I know in the past when we've done this, Jesse, people have been able to post questions in advance, so that whomever was leading the training, they could actually prepare for whatever questions the community might have.
That's a great point. And so as questions come through, if they come through on the forums, we'll be sure to make that part of what we address inside of the next session. And so the more that you give us to talk about, the more we'll be able to help you.
Perfect. I wonder if anybody has any questions.
So it does appear that our Q&A feature is not currently working at the moment. So if you do have a question, if you could, why don't you go ahead and send it to us via email. You can send it, I'll share my screen again so you can see the address. Go ahead and email your question to this address here, socialmedia@robomatter.com. We'll go ahead and give it a few minutes to see if there are any questions that come in. In the meantime, Jesse, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you sign up for those free trainings.
Sure. So on that robotc.net/RECF page, we will be posting a link there where you will be able to enroll inside of those courses. And so we just scheduled them. We will have that link there before the end of the week for sure.
So one of the things you noted was, or maybe you didn't note, but the winner of these competitions gets a pass to go to the REC Foundation national or international tournament.
Yep, and actually I hadn't let that out yet. I was waiting for a big reveal a little bit later, but that's exactly right. And so we're able to offer two prizes. The prize is admission for your team into VEX Worlds 2016. And so we are able to award one prize to the top team for VEX IQ, and one for the top team inside of the VEX Cortex game. Now let me go back to sharing the screens, because there is there are a fair number of rules around this. And so if you go to the CS2N pages where you actually submit your scores, you'll see that there's a fair number of rules so that anyone interested will want to make sure that they're interested. Or anyone that's interested in competing will want to make sure that they read these ahead of time. And then a big caveat is that since VEX Worlds is a RECF event, any team in order to qualify must also be an RECF registered team. So in order to qualify for the prize, you have to do really well with the Virtual Worlds programming, and you also have to be an RECF registered team in the appropriate division.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Any other questions coming through?
Can you show me what the virtual game might or looks like, either the bank shot or the
Certainly.
other
So
game?
again, if you go to the RECF page, you'll be able to find links to these different pages I'm hopping around. Where I'm going right now is the Robot Virtual Worlds page. And so we have dedicated pages for both Bankshot and Nothing But Net. And on there we have a couple of really cool videos that promote the games. Okay. Is that footage coming through?
It's not.
Okay. I think that's a factor of the screen sharing, that it's not actively playing. So sorry about that for anyone out there, but I encourage you to come out and check it out. The video does work. I think it's just because I'm currently sharing my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. If I can just add real quick, when I used the virtual worlds in my classroom, I know from a teaching perspective, it was really helpful for me because oftentimes with robotics classes, you have 2 or maybe 3 students working at a time with one particular robotics kit working on one challenge. With the virtual world, I could have all my students working, if I wanted to, working individually, so I could see exactly where they were from a programming standpoint. I could track their progress via CS2N and do those types of things. So it was very helpful for me as a teacher to see how the student skills were progressing using the virtual worlds. And then, to be able to, like I said, the students getting the immediate feedback from the virtual world itself. And they really enjoyed it. It was a game-like environment for them with the different virtual worlds. So the engagement level was really high. And then, obviously, in teaching, the more that we can do to excite the students and engage them, so doing something like a competition within the classroom, like Rob was mentioning earlier, I think that would be really exciting for a lot of kids and would open up a lot of opportunities for teachers.
Yeah, thank you for including all that, Jason. We do pride ourselves in making things that are both classroom ready and fun, and so both of these new games and the robots that we produced for them were tested with students, tested with interns, which are actually former participants inside of the VEX Robotics program, and so we're optimistic that VEX teams are going to have a great time competing in this space too.
Leanne, did we get any additional questions?
Nope, we have not had any additional questions come through, so we are all clear on that end.
Okay, very good. Well, I don't think we have anything else to add.
Okay, so just let me, one last time, just want to remind you guys about who are on the call to send us an email at socialmedia@robomatter.com in order to get entered into the contest to win a free Robot Virtual Worlds license. I just wanted to get in one last plug for that. Okay. All right, well, if you do have any questions, feel free to email us or post to our Facebook account, or also tweet us with your questions as well. I really apologize for the Q&A not working, but we're really glad you guys could join us tonight, and hope you join us on a webinar again in the future.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good night. Bye.